I got my saxophone and my funky groove. I'm here to tell you about a sound that'll make you move. If you want to create and release, let me introduce you to the GarageBand Beast. With its fancy horns and a rhythm so tight, GarageBand gonna take you to new heights. Whether you're a novice or a seasoned pro, this sound's got everything you need to let your talent flow. Machine GarageBand Supreme, unleash your creativity, feel your dream. A brand new funky style infusion, let your music be the ultimate contribution.
Y'all, welcome in to GarageBand Weekly here on Studio Live today. My name is Pete Johnson. For the next, who knows these days, sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes it's an hour. We're talking GarageBand, we're talking Apple, we're talking creating in the home studio on your Mac or your iPad or your iPhone or your iPod Touch maybe. And you know what? If you're just GarageBand curious and you're using a PC and Cakewalk, you're welcome here, because we kind of just have a yammer about whatever's in the news and whatever's going on. And what is in the news? Well, that's what we're going to find out in the news and notes section in just a wee jiffy. We're going to say good day to the folks who are here live as well. If you're here live or if you're on the replay, thumbs up because the sun's up if you would like to do so. And don't forget that you can go over here, studiolivetoday.com/GarageBand. That's your one-stop shop for GarageBand stuff. You can GarageBand till you drop at our one-stop shop, studiolivetoday.com/GarageBand. G'day to the folks we have here live. Hello, Fat Panda Cat. G'day, Thomas Christ. Hello, Crow on a Wire. Hello to Mark Bro. G'day, Al Davis. I hope you are all doing fine and dandy on this lovely day or evening, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, don't forget, there's my FAQ, and you can become a member as well and join the fun with the membership or the Patreonage. Tomorrow's Patreon Live. So if you have been thinking about becoming a patron of the channel and you're like, I just don't know, well, join up. Look, I don't care. Join up and pay your $1 and then come to Patreon Live tomorrow. And then if you don't like it, you can quit. It's not like the gym in Friends. It's not hard to quit. It's like, I want to quit the Patreon. No, you just hang around for as long as you can. I had to make the call to stop supporting some creators on Patreon that I had for a very long time because I no longer really engage with their content. And guess what? We're in kind of a cost of living crisis at the moment, so I totally get it. Those who can support me, love you to bits. If you can't do it right now, that's cool too. You can support me in the free ways with the thumbs up and by coming along and hanging out here. Beautiful afternoon in SoCal. It's a windy, cold old day here in Adelaide, South Australia, but that's never stopped me in the past and will not stop me in the future. Hello, Independic. Love the name. Welcome aboard. Good to see you and good to see everyone here. Hello, Jade Star. So news and notes. Let's dive in. Look, I'm not going to bury the lead because you saw it in the thumbnail. Apple have an event. We didn't think we'd see an event before WWDC, which is just a month away, but we have an event. What do we know about this event? Well, I'm just going to talk about that in a little while because that's our feature topic. But all I'm really going to do is regurgitate all the stuff because we know nothing. We know nothing about this. It looks like it's iPads. It has a pencil in it. That's all we know. So it's going to be, I actually like the surprises. I know like there's a lot of leakers around there and lots of speculation. Look, I'm up there speculating with everyone else, but I also like the surprise of what's actually going to happen on the day. So I don't want to be completely spoiled for that. But let's jump into the news and notes. So yes, the event's on May the 7th, not May the 4th. May the 4th will be with you. But May the 7th, there's a link to the YouTube video down in the description below. So if you want to jump on over to this YouTube video right here, you can set yourself a reminder live in 7 days and you can jump in there and watch the event. These events are usually an hour or sometimes 2 hours, depends on how much they're announcing and what they're doing with it. It's a weird time. So it's early morning. It's actually late night for me. It's 11:30 p.m., which is way past my bedtime. But I will be taking one for the team and hanging out and checking that one out. So yeah, keep an eye on the channel. I'll no doubt post the highlights of it, maybe do a quick short video afterwards. And then we will actually be delaying this show. because it's in 7 days' time, on the 7th of May, we'll be doing GarageBand Weekly a day later next week. So, yeah, check your calendars and notifications for that one. Or actually, no, we'll do it. I can't remember. I can't remember what day it is, but we'll be moving some things around. We'll try not to conflict with with too many other things and shows, but yes, we'll do that because it'll be interesting to see what happens. But we'll talk about that a little more in just a jiffy. A quick beverage from my Studio Live Today mug. Available now from studiolivetoday.com/merch. I wanted to point you to a cool new video. I get lots of questions especially from iPad users, whether you're using GarageBand iPad or Logic Pro on your iPad, about mastering. Heaps of people asking me about how do I get my final mix and then my master sounding the best it can. Our mate Patrick over at the Logic Pro Guide, yes, he is the GarageBand Guide guy, but he also has another channel called the Logic Pro Guide. He has a new video here, which is the iPad Mastering Showdown. And it's Logic Pro versus Grand Finale versus BandLab. So he talks about the mastering assistant in Logic Pro and then goes into Grand Finale, which is another app you can use to master on your iPad, and BandLab, which is a free option, which is pretty good as well. And he talks about the differences between those. That's generated quite a little bit of discussion, which I'll talk about because I'm going to have a rant. I'm going to have a good old-fashioned rant today. We used to do a rant of the week every week on this show. Haven't ranted in a wee while, so we're going to be doing that. For whatever reason, I use the word we when I start talking about Patrick. But there he is, the man with the plan. He's trying to look more and more like me every day now that he's turned 40. So not really. He doesn't have the greys. He's got the same hair, but he doesn't have the greys, our mate Patrick. And yeah, if you're not already subscribed to Patrick, GarageBand Guide and the Logic Pro Guide, he's the OG. He's the guy. Well, I know other people may say they're the OG. He's my OG. Love you, Patrick. So go check that one out. Linked in the description as well. Got to talk about this, even though it's not directly related to GarageBand or music creating, but it kind of is, because there was a little app called Musical.ly, owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, and that was basically people dancing and miming to songs. And a lot of people were into this back in the day, but you know, people were like, oh, it's just a gimmick. It's like Vine. It's just a gimmick. It won't last long. Around about 4 years ago, they rebranded, renamed it, decided to call it TikTok, and lo and behold, it takes the world by storm. Especially if you're under the age of 30, you're probably spending a bit of time on TikTok. Until you're not, because just this week there was a law passed in the US of A, already signed by the president. Chair's still not fixed, already signed by President Biden, which is going to essentially ban TikTok. And because politics, they attached it to a bill, which was support for relief in the Ukraine. So yeah, go politics, right? Yeah, that makes so much sense. So TikTok's being banned. I'd love to get your views on this. I sit on the fence on all this sort of stuff, but I think that if you're going to ban TikTok, why are you still allowing things like Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube to continue doing what they do unfettered? It seems to me that it's just because of the country of ownership of the platform that we think that that's what they're going to use to yeah, if you know anything about internet security and online security in general, you know that it's not through wide open apps like TikTok that things are going to be done nefariously. They have ways. We have ways of making you do what we say and of infiltrating you and stealing your data. And it's generally not through your video sharing apps. At least that's my opinion. But you know what they say, opinions are plentiful. So we'd love to hear your opinions on that. Here's the thing though. Better the devil you know, and it's ironic that the US government are the ones who are shutting it down, because would I fear ByteDance, or would I fear the government agencies that have three letters spying on me and taking my data? I don't know, man. I don't know. But for us here in Australia, it doesn't really make any difference. But it's weird that it's happening at the same time that we're having fights between our Prime Minister and Elno about his Twitter product and what they're doing there. So social media, man, it's a slippery slope. It's wacky. But here's the thing. It's not banned yet. They've got 9 months. This is the thing. People are like, right, it's banned. It's gone. No, they've got 9 months now to either sell it, which the Chinese government and ByteDance have said, nah, we ain't selling it. So that's unlikely to happen. Or there's going to be an appeal. And you know what it's like in the legal system. Like, yeah, it's like, here's our decision until it's appealed. And then it goes down a long road of appeals and goes before courts. And eventually it'll be the Supreme Court. And hey, we know we know that you'll get a really fair and just outcome from the Supreme Court as well. Oh dear. Fat Panda Cat says, weird that TikTok is a focus considering most of the election interference took on good old. Yeah, that's right. And all the Facebook scientists as well that get all of their scientific facts from Facebook through the last 4 years. It's a little bit wacky, isn't it? Politicians are all corrupt in America. Yeah, Facebook wanted TikTok banned, so they told our... Yeah, and that's the other thing. There's lots of talk, and we can speculate, and I'm not going to say any more than I already have and throw myself under the bus, because I don't need that. I don't need the drama, but yeah, it is a bit weird that... that Facebook and Meta and Twitter, I still refuse to call it X, I'm very sorry, but I won't. Yeah, all of the companies, YouTube as well, they're all doing the same stuff. And that's the thing. And if it's moral outcry and public disgrace, then it's not really just the one company, is it? It's a bit weird. It's a bit wacky, but what can you do? Hey, what can you do? We will continue on. And that's the thing. This is why I was talking about music releasing and bring it back to music. And I saw a comparison recently about like, oh, here's why you need to use this distributor over this distributor is because this one, you pay once and you're there forever on all the platforms. But what is forever? In the digital age, what is forever? What was the forever of MySpace? What was the forever of Vine? Speaking of short form video content, what was the forever of Friendster? And what will the forever be of Spotify and Facebook and YouTube? YouTube didn't exist 20 years ago, and now it's the second biggest search engine in the world. Google didn't exist 30 years ago, and now it's everything to everyone. So it is, yeah, I don't get too involved in it, but I keep up to date with it because what will it mean for us as creators and for us sharing our music and stuff? Well, a little bit. We've already seen that, Universal Music Group pulled out of TikTok, said we're not going to provide any of our artists' music to TikTok anymore. So that already happened. And what this will do, even if it gets appealed and it stays, what's happening right now? Advertisers are whoop, creators are whoop. So who benefits from this? Yeah, Meta, YouTube, Snapchat, all those companies, because the creators are going to go somewhere and they'll choose to go there. Or that new one. What's that new one called? I went in there the other day and it's like, have you ever done that thing where you just walk into like a pub or a bar or a restaurant and you just look around and everyone just turns at you and you're just like, slowly back step out. Yeah, that's what happened when I went to that new one the other day. I walked in there and I'm like, oh look, it's a YouTube clone with all these yay. Oh, okay. And I backed away. What is that called? Someone will know. Someone will know in the chat. Anyway, so that's a lot longer than I wanted to spend talking about TikTok and why it's being... Where's our Apple? Where's our GarageBand social sharing platform? I've always said that. How cool would an Apple-specific GarageBand-only music sharing place be? There'd still somehow be infighting between the Mac and I can't believe you use an iPad. I can't believe you use a Mac. What did your Mac cost you? $8,000? It would still happen, wouldn't it? I wanted to share something real quick because I got a question this week. I don't normally show these sort of things here, but I thought this was something I've had a few times lately, and we don't normally do like tips and tricks, but this is a really quick one, and a lot of people get caught up on this one. So insert a tip and trick here. And by the way, we are interactive. I meant to say that up front, but if you've got any questions, we've got plenty of time today. So do throw a Q in front of your comment. I'll answer any of your questions as they come on through. But I wanted to talk to this one and bring it up here. There's a difference here. So, ding, I don't have my mouse here. There's a difference here between GarageBand and the Files app that I wanted to show here. So I'm going to close everything down here. I'm going to start from scratch. The question I got this week was from someone who was trying to export their GarageBand project, but they were trying to export it as either a song file or they wanted to export it as a ringtone, in fact. And they couldn't do it. And they were saying, why can't I export this? And here's the thing they were doing. They were coming in here, they were tapping and holding, doing the right thing, hitting the share button, and they were getting that, right? They were getting the share sheet. And they were like, why can't I export this as a song or a ringtone or a project? What's going on here? And I've done this on countless occasions, and I would love it if Apple would do something to to make this more obvious. But see how at the top left it says Files? Even though this looks exactly like GarageBand looks when you log in, it's not. So when we load up GarageBand, no, that's the wrong one. We load up GarageBand. Yeah, look at this. It's identical because it uses the exact same file structure and the exact same system here. It is 100% the same. And if you do the same thing in here and you come in and you do your tap and your hold, you see you get less options. You don't have all the files options. But when you hit share, you get this. You get the share shong sheet as opposed to the share sheet that you get in files. So just wanted to touch on that. The other thing that you can't do in here is do things like zip up your projects for backing them up because it won't let you do file tasks in GarageBand, just like it won't let you do GarageBand task in files. If you want to do files tasks, like zipping up your project, you got to come back here, tap and hold, and then you've got the options there to compress and to copy and to move and to duplicate and to do all the files action. So if in doubt, check the top left corner and make sure it says either GarageBand or Files. And yeah, to the person who emailed me with that this week and the countless other folks who've asked similar questions, I hope that helped. If you're watching this one, I hope you've gone, that's it. And make sure that when you're going in and doing your stuff, do it in GarageBand, not Files. They don't like that younger people are telling the truth on TikTok. Yeah, and look, that's the problem, isn't it? People are able to express themselves and able to say things that people may not agree with. And look, I'm very much not a conspiracy theory or a drama guy, as you know. But yeah, there's a certain level of control that folks want out there, and it just seems to be this battle of the platforms between. Yeah, and again, it's not even free speech. People get very confused with free speech. They think that freedom of speech means freedom of consequence, and it so doesn't. You can't just say what you want and go free speech. That just means you're allowed to criticize the government. Doesn't mean you're allowed to criticize another person. Doesn't mean you're allowed to criticize a company even. So yeah, people get very confused even with the Constitution and all the amendments. How many you got now? About 27. And people go back to like the Third Amendment and the First Amendment and the Sixth Amendment and stuff and go, see? And it's like the very fact that you've got 20 amendments on your Constitution means that things change and the world changes and you need to keep moving. You can't just keep pointing backwards because, back in the day where you had to worry about people flailing bare arms at you. That's for sure. Oh, wow. Getting off on weird tangents today. Threads sucks. I went on Threads and came off immediately because my feed was just anti-drunk. Yeah, isn't that right? It is weird. It is weird what bubbles up to the top. And it's all people saying, hey, we're just telling it like it is. We're just saying what everyone's thinking. And it's like, no, you're just saying what you and your homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic cronies are saying. When did this become a politics show? Should we get back onto some music and some other things? Yeah, let's talk about Apple's Let Loose event. So as I mentioned before, there it is. That is the place where you can go. You can also go to apple.com. In fact, let's go to apple.com because it is front and center over here. There it is, the Apple event. And as part of the I'll go through all the speculation in a minute, but part of the speculation is someone said, see how it says air there? Is that, see, that's a lowercase a and an R, an I and an R. See, it says air. I'm like, maybe that's digging a little bit deep there though. But yeah, there's the Apple event. You can go in there, and I actually really dig this animation. Question mark: could anyone actually do that finger thing with the pen? There were always kids in your class, weren't there, that could do the finger thing with the pen, and I could never do the finger thing with the pen, and it always baffled me. And there was this guy that was in my science class that could do this amazing. He wasn't even paying attention. He'd just sit there and he'd do it in his left hand, and then it was like a juggler. He'd just go, and he'd be doing it in his right hand. And you'd be talking to him, and the pen would just be doing these weird flips around behind his hand. And I'm like, I don't know how you're even doing that. Crazy. Anyway, I like the animation. And all we've got is literally that animation. And if we scroll down, there it is. So it is at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which is weird, isn't it? It's an interesting time for an event to happen. Good for me because it means it's at 11:30 a.m. instead of the usual 2:30 or 3:30 a.m. But yeah, it is weird that it is on at 7 a.m. Pacific time. It's 10 a.m. Eastern, so I guess they're just trying different and new things, and maybe they're doing it specifically for our European friends. Maybe it's because they're announcing something cool related to the UK? I don't know. Probably not. Yeah, early morning for the West Coast for sure, indeed. They're doing this event at an odd time. Exactly. Yeah, it's late morning or like early morning on the West Coast. Bizarre. Fat Panda Cat can do the coins and play. Oh, that's so cool. You should start a channel. I would subscribe. I would like, comment, and subscribe to your channel, Fat Panda Cat, if it was just you doing pen, coin, and playing card tricks. Yeah, that's all I did. I liked doing, all I could do was that one where it made your pencil look like rubber and you're doing this, woo, 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 and it looks like it's going up and down. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, iPad's incoming. So what are people speculating on? And again, I know nothing. I'm like Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing, but I have been reading all of the bits that people have been talking about. And let's start with the facts, man. And that is that Tim Cook put out a pencil us in, see what he did there, with a pencil emoji for May 7th. So what seems to be undeniable is that something pencil related is coming. A couple of speculations on that one. One is that it's a brand new pencil and people are pointing to the fact that maybe it's a new pencil that's sort of shorter and stubbier because look at this. Look at that animation. It looks like it's a thicker, shorter pencil than the current pencils. And I'm like, or, that's just how the animation looked cooler to have it a bit thicker. Who knows? But yeah, there's folks that are questioning what we're going to get. So are we going to get the shorter pencil? Is it going to have like magnetically interchangeable tips? One that I read said it could do color sampling. So in real world, it has like a little sensor on there, like a color camera sensor. So you could actually I would kind of love that. If I could go, I want this exact yellow of this t-shirt and I'm poking myself in the boob with a pencil and then I can draw in that color. Come on, how cool would that be? I'd like it. Other than saying that you're going to get more taps and squeezes, so it's going to have more like sensors, because at the moment you can tap on it, you can't really do a whole lot else. So we're going to get like a mechanical pencil click at the end or some sort of way to squeeze it or tap it or do something different. So you can go online and search new Apple Pencil and you'll see all the speculation in the world. What do we know right now? Absolutely nothing. The iPads. So yeah, a lot of people are talking about new iPads, and it has been a while. It's been a while since we've seen new iPads. So iPad Pro will almost definitely be coming. Folks were sort of speculating maybe M4 for this, but M4 is looking like WWDC, so it's almost definitely going to be M3 for an iPad Pro. The last iPad Pro we saw was the M2. Makes total sense. People are talking about screens and that we're going to finally see some OLED displays, which would be better than what we currently have with the mini LED displays that we have. The other speculation is new iPad Air. So they'll be apparently, you'll be getting these screens, and this is not unprecedented because it's been happening with chips for years, that the last year's Pro becomes this year's regular, and in this case, last year's Pro becomes this year's Air. So there's a lot of people saying that the M2 and then the screen, the mini LED screen from the iPad Pro will become the new iPad Air, and the iPad Pro will get the OLED, which will be the better screen again. So we will see what happens with that. One rumor that I want to be true is the camera. So the landscape camera. The challenge with that, I'm just going to unplug my iPad to show you here. The challenge with that is if we look at the current iPad here, the iPad Pro, your pencil magnetizes to the top there, and the camera is over here, and then your port is over here. So what folks have been saying is if you have the landscape camera like you have on the new iPad Vanilla, what are you going to do with your pencil? You can't really have the magnetic charging strip there above the camera. Or could you? I'm sure Apple will find a way to do that if that is the case. But that'll be interesting to see. Will you have your pencil docking and where will the camera be? Because That is the one drawback. The few times I've used this for like live streaming or video conferencing, yeah, you're always looking off to the side. And trust me, for me, I have enough trouble making it look like I'm looking at the camera with both eyes. I don't need any additional challenges. So fingers crossed that we do get the landscape camera there. The other weird thing that keeps coming up is a calculator app. Like, yeah, I'm like, I read the article. I'm like, well, there's 5 minutes I won't be getting back. That someone was writing an article about calculators finally coming to the iPad, and I get it. It would be nice to have a calculator app on your iPad, I guess, but who doesn't have a phone in their pocket that has a calculator on it? Like, I don't know. I've never been in a point where I'm like, I've really got to do some serious number crunching, and I don't have my iPad because I've only got my iPad and it's got a calculator. Plus, I don't know about you, probably because of my corporate days as a business analyst, but if I need to do some number crunching, I just open a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is the ultimate calculator because you just put your numbers in there and you can see exactly what's happening and you can do all the, anyway, you get a paper trail of all your calculations. So we'll see there. It would be cool. I'm dreaming about getting some new M3 Mac Minis or Mac Studios because it's what I'm in need of. I mean, I'll enjoy new iPads. I think it's always cool when we get new iPads. But yeah, the Mac, now they've got the M3. Really should be getting that in our Mac Mini because I would be buying one right now, even though I don't have the money for it. I'd be going into Hock to buy if I could. They're even talking about, yeah, I know, rumors are getting crazier every day, and that's the thing. I don't know. I don't really take a lot of heat in the rumor mill. I kind of like, in fact, I kind of switch off. So I'll probably switch off from like today and then just wait because the rumors are just going to get more and more outlandish, and I don't really. But I mean, is it fun to speculate? Yeah, kind of. But do we want to speculate about everything? I don't know. Yeah, I want to know how Apple will launch a calculator. And Apple have revolutionized the way you deal with numbers. Look at this buttery smooth multiplication table. I don't know. It would be weird. Yeah, I know. We need it. We need M3. We need M3 in the minis. Maybe they will skip. They'll skip it entirely. They'll go straight to the M4. That will be weird. That will be bizarre. Yeah, it could charge like a kinetic watch. Well, that's the other thing that people have been talking about is maybe we're going to have a couple of things. They think that they might put a MagSafe puck type charger spot on here. I don't really see how that's going to be that useful. We've already have the ability to charge by like attaching it to cases, but they say, oh, it'll be because you can have the, like you have with your phone. Don't have a lot of heat in that. Again, I think it's wishful thinking, but a lot of folks are saying, what about wireless charging so that you can on-charge other devices? Because you got your iPad, you can throw your Apple Watch or your AirPods or your iPhone on the back of your iPad and charge it that way. And I know that there is that on, I think, some Samsung phones, I think, have that, where you just put them back to back. You can, yo, man, slip me some juice. And someone's like, yo, man, I got you hooked up. And you're, oh, yeah, good stuff. Don't know what. They became hippies. I know. Here in Australia, we hate math so much, we pluralize it. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say I hate maths, even though I can't really say maths very well. Oh dear. What else have I got in my notes here? That's going to be about it. Let's be honest. It'll be an event. We'll sit around. We'll grab our popcorn. We'll watch the event. We'll see what's new, and then we'll talk about it. So yeah. What are the rumors? But some say odd for iPads and even for desktop. Wouldn't that be weird? Well, it used to be the A series chip with your mobile chip, and your M series was for the desktop. And then they went, oh, let's just chuck the M series in the portables as well, except for the iPhones, which still use the A chip. I don't know. Who knows? But yes, let me just check my notes. Have we got anything else here? No, I think that's it. I think that's all we'll talk about. But yes, pencil in the 7th of May or 8th of May if you're here in... Oh, no, it's actually the 7th of May here. It's one of the few things where the date is actually the same here in Australia. It just happens to be the 11:30 p.m. and 7 a.m. Pacific and 10 a.m. Eastern. So, yeah, keep your eye on the channel. I'll let you know once it's all out and done. Yep. They've unfroze Walt Disney's head. It'd be interesting to see how that goes. Talking about maths, yes, taxes. So is the Canada the same as the US, where you have some weird date in April that's your tax day? Is it the end of April? So has everyone done your taxes in the US and Canada? Here I make fun of that, and then here we have this even weirder system where we use a financial year. Like our fiscal year and our financial year are different. So financial year ends on the 30th of June. So I don't have to do my taxes until the end of September. Or, because I use an accountant, like March the following year. So it's very weird and odd. Yeah, tax is my least favourite thing. But at least, as you know, if you've watched Your Music Live, when I do my taxes or I do any sort of admin, I'm always listening to cool lo-fi tracks from you folks. So it kind of eases the pain a little bit there. All right, so that's our news and notes. That's our feature topic. Quick note that, you can hear by my voice that I was going to do some singing and then some mixing of my vocals. I've been talking too much. Ever since episode 200 of Your Music Live and then 201 and 202, we've been doing like nearly 3-hour shows, and I've been recording some extra videos, and I've been doing a bunch of stuff. So I've taken my own advice and said, as much as you would like to finish this song, Johns, and you'd like to be doing some actual creative work, you just need to take a break. So I'm hoping that I'm going to stop talking for the rest of today. Tomorrow, all I've got is Patreon Live. So we'll have an hour or so chatting with patrons tomorrow, and then rest day before the podcast and the weekend's work at the end. Oh, that was an interesting one. Haven't seen that anyway, but pencil to the phones. Maybe we'll be getting a stylus. Does a pencil stick onto the side of my phone? Yeah, you can see it, couldn't you? Just put that in your pocket, funk, and it would stick to the side. Oh, I know, yeah. Next YML will be cue cards. I'll hold them up like Bob Dylan music video style. We're talking like this. Or I'll do it all in my head voice to rest my voice. No, maybe not. Best day of my working life was when I could finally afford an accountant. I know. It kind of goes that way for me too. It's like if I'm not making enough money to hire an accountant to do my taxes, I'm just not going to work anymore. Because it's a pain in the butt. But Canada's the end of April for personal income, different for business. Yeah, oh no, it's a slippery slope. If I ever hire anyone like on staff, people are like, you should hire a thumbnail designer, you should hire a creative editor, you should. No, it'll be two things. It'll be a bookkeeper, and it would be a social media coordinator. Like they're the two things that I struggle with the most. Is it easy to access statements from DistroKid when doing your taxes? Really good question. Yes. Now, I have a slightly different relationship with DistroKid because I am a DistroKid. What are they called? They sponsor me, basically. But yeah, all of your breakdown, you can see, and depending how your taxation system works. Basically, if you go to the bank tab, I can't show you mine because it's part of the deal, unfortunately. But if you go to your bank tab and you scroll down, there's an excruciating detail thing you can do. But what you can do is you can do all dates combined, or you can do a month-by-month breakdown. So that's what I do when I'm doing my taxes. I go into my bank and I look at that. For me, it's once you actually withdraw the money that's when it goes. And because it goes through my PayPal, because I withdraw through PayPal, I just look for PayPal transactions that are DistroKid, and that will actually show the amount. And again, because I'm outside of the US, I also pay a 5% withholding tax. So I have to factor that into my taxes as well. So it's pretty easy. So yeah, I'm just looking at it now that if you just go in and you just select the month, it will give you the month. And you've got everything up to March now. So if you were doing your taxes for 2023, you just go in there month by month and you go, yep, in that month I made that much in that month. And again, depends on the accounting system as to whether you are using it, you're calculating it when it's given to you or when you withdraw it. So yeah, again, not an accountant, but yeah, it's very simple to jump in there. Yeah, Mark hasn't claimed his $1.45 yet. Exactly. Yep, and a good accountant will save you more than you pay them if you're lucky. I know, I would love, people are like, I'm scared of AI bots, or like, I don't want an AI robot version of me to take over. And I'm like, where do I sign up? Where do I get the robot version of me that I just point at everything I've ever done and said, there? That's all the past stuff. So at the moment, I'm redoing these GarageBand tutorials, which is great. It's fine. And it's good because they're a lot better than the ones I did 7 years ago. But I already, like, an AI should know that I know this stuff and they should be able to just create these videos for me. Or hopefully, I want AI accountants. I'm sorry, accountants and lawyers, but your jobs are basically just knowing information. You are data processors and regurgitators. So yeah, and again, the more creative accountants, as Joe and Barry are talking about, are the ones that can potentially get you into more trouble. Remember, it doesn't matter how creative your accountant is. You're the one that signs that final line, and you're the one that, if an audit goes pear-shaped, are going to be in trouble, unfortunately. Your accountant maybe also, but you can't hide behind. You can't say, but my accountant told me to. That's why you sign that declaration. That's like, I have checked. It's weird. You pay a professional to check everything for you, and then at the end you sign saying, I hereby say that I have checked everything. It's like, I'd love to say that I read everything. Just like terms of service, hey, I read every word. All right. Good question, though, Al. Thank you for asking. If you do have any final questions, I'm going to rant at you for about 5 minutes here to end the show. And if you're watching on the replay and you do have questions, just drop those in the comment section. I'm always down there. That's where a lot of the stuff that we cover and a lot of the content from these shows comes from, is from your comments down in the comment section. And yeah, I'm going to finish up soon because I'm going to go and get ready to watch the Las Vegas Golden Knights hopefully beat Dallas again today. They're 2-1 up, but it's looking a bit weird. Yeah, always trust your doctor. He's got inside information. I need a rim shot. Hang on. Do I have one on here? I think there is a rim shot on here. I just don't know which one it is. Hang on. Is it... where are we? There it is. Hang on. Yeah. It's like medical. Always trust your doctor. He's got inside information. I'm not good with the timing. He's got inside information. There you go. Hello, James Antoine. We're having a bit of silliness here today, mate, but welcome aboard. I really hope it is. I really hope it is Knights Rangers, because that would be cool. And in fact, that's what I've put in my bracket. My bracket's looking okay because the only team that's gone through so far are the Rangers. So I'm 1 for 1. But I think there's somewhere I'm not looking. I think I said Winnipeg would get through as well, and that doesn't look like happening. And Nashville also doesn't look like happening, even though I thought it would. Will you be covering Luma Fusion 5 once it comes out? Maybe. That's an interesting question. You guys tell me. I haven't done a lot of... I did a bunch of iMovie stuff, and I did a bunch of Luma Fusion stuff. I've been focusing more on the audio side of things. I haven't been focusing as much on video. I'll definitely be using it because I'm a massive Luma Fusion fan. In fact, I've mentioned this before, and not to make it sound like I'm big nerding myself, but the very few occasions I've caught up with a rep from Apple, they're always really surprised, especially now that they have Final Cut Pro on iPad. I think they're a little bit offended that I still use Luma Fusion. But before, when Final Cut was first coming and Final Cut and Logic Pro were being released for iPad, I was talking to someone at Apple, and they were like, oh yeah, so what do you use to edit your videos? Are you like an Adobe Premiere user, or do you use Final Cut on your Mac? And I'm like, Luma Fusion on my iPhone? Because I do. Now I use Luma Fusion on the Mac more often than not. Not Mac, on the iPad more often than not. But people are very surprised that I'm still a Luma Fusion user and advocate, because I just find it easier. It's just easier and better, and I just find it much better for me. But again, I'm not doing really complicated stuff. But we'll see what Luma Fusion 5 brings. You know what it will have? It'll have AI splattered all over it. And I don't mind, because AI is just automation, remember, really. At the end of the day, AI is just, if AI can automate something, automate a task that I used to have to do manually, I'm all in. But I'm just a little bit sick of the fact that everything has to be called AI. Artificial intelligence. It's like, if it's so intelligent, why can't it just edit this video for me? In fact, that would be a cool thing. Here's what I want. If Luma Touch are listening, here's what I want in the video editor. Because, in fact, I'll show you. I'm going to show you my latest project. So I'm editing right now, right? I'm here in Luma Fusion. I'm editing right now. So this is my latest video. By the way, little sneak peek behind the scenes. This is a video of me releasing Thomas Christ's remix of Work in Progress, my Song Temper song from a few years back. So yeah, you'll be able to see this video soon. It took a little bit of doing to get it out here, but see how when we're going through this, like I'll read a whole chunk here. All I really do with my editing is I just use jump cut editing, but sometimes I'll do like a whole chunk like this, say, and then I'll get to the end and go, oh, blah, 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 because it's wrong. And then I have to restart. So shouldn't AI be able to go to the end of my project, work backwards, and then compare what I say in each section and go, all right, well, this is clearly that section. This was a flub. This was a flub. This was a flub. All right, this is a legit section. That was the first attempt at that one. And that was a flub. Like, it really is, my editing is simple. It's just time consuming because I don't do a whole lot, as you can see. It's very straightforward sort of editing. But yeah, so that's what I want from AI editing. But even if there's something that could just, and I know that Adobe Premiere and I think Final Cut have this, just remove all the silences. Like if I could just touch a button, and maybe Luma Fusion has it already, but if I touch a button and it just chops and cuts and splits from 1 second either side of every silence, that would save me a bunch of time of cutting and editing. Anyway, so it's a long way of saying, I don't know, maybe I will. I'll definitely do a bit of an overview because I'm a Luma Fusion fan and user. But yeah, we'll have speed ramping and advanced keyframes. And that's the sort of thing, like, that's what I mean. The new features like that are going to make it more like I use Luma Fusion because I don't use the bells and whistles that Final Touch and Premiere have. So Luma Fusion getting more of the stuff that you can do in Final Cut and Premiere Pro is not going to do it for me. It'll want it to be. I want cool things. New Luma Fusion updates soon. Yeah. So they're always doing that. Luma Fusion is not free. It is, how much does it cost these days? Let's go App Store, Luma Fusion. I need to learn how to use Luma Fusion better on my Mac because I know that it's cross-compatible. So let's go here. Luma Fusion on the App Store. $29.99, which I think would be Australian. No, it's US. Yeah, because I think it's about $45 Australian, so $29.99. But it's pretty cool. I bought it, and I paid for it once, and I think I bought it back in version 2, and what is it at version now? Version 4.1.3, and version 5 in the works at the moment. And I feel a bit bad for the Luma Touch folks because Apple obviously have Final Cut Pro now, and they used to always pull the Luma Touch folks in and talk about Luma Fusion in like the keynotes and in the events and things, and now they don't tend to get as much love. They're still there, and they're still definitely partners of Apple, but because Apple have their own, they don't get as much love. And Final Touch is cool. I've used it a few times, but I like it. What have we got? Ponk80 says they will be using AI for removing the background from a subject. It will be all on device, so they don't be stealing or selling any of your data. Oh, mate, they can steal and sell my data as much as they like. I'll just create more. That's the thing when you go quantity over quality. People can steal your stuff, and you just make more. Good luck stealing everything I do, world. Yeah, so was there a question? I think there was another question. Oh, yeah, warming up your voice. Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do. There's vocal exercises and things. I'll leave it to the experts. There's some really cool videos. Beth Rawls is a great vocal coach. She has some videos about warm-up exercises and things you can do with the me ma 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 ma. But yeah, the key thing is hydration. Lots of hydration. Some people swear by like those special voice-saving lemon drinks and things that you can have. But cold or overly hot stuff is not good for your voice. And yeah, just rest. Like that's the fundamental thing is to make sure that you're not straining, you're not talking, you're not singing a whole lot. Like there's artists that literally don't talk for the entire day leading up to a big concert. Like say you're a Paul McCartney. I don't know if Paul does this, but yeah, you just wouldn't talk for the entire day because they've got to really stretch their vocal cords for like 4 hours. So what do? I just make sure I hydrate as much as I possibly can, which is a balancing act when you're 45 because you've got to balance the hydration and the toilet breaks. Because you wanted too much information. Whiskey and cigarettes, yeah, it's always an option. There's a singer here in Australia, Jimmy Barnes, who always gone with that. I think Akadaka, AC/DC, did that as well. So that wasn't me. I was scratching my nose and I just realised I was doing that. That wasn't me flipping anyone the bird. No added timelines in the update. Oh, no. Thanks, Al. Love your cover of Addicted to Bass. Regarding covers on DistroKid, are there songs that can't be covered because the artist won't allow it? It's a good question. I haven't come across. I believe so. I believe the short answer to that is yes. So the way that covers work in DistroKid, and you can search my name, Pete Johns covers DistroKid, and find this out. But the way covers work is that it uses an agency called the Harry Fox Agency to actually acquire the cover license. So you submit the cover song, and unfortunately there's no guarantee that it's actually going to be approved and get the license. So you basically have to wait a day or two. So for instance, when I released that Addicted to Bass cover, it took about a day. It went to Harry Fox. They sent it off. They found the original song, and it was approved. And they usually don't have to speak to the artist. There's usually just a tick. We approve all covers of this song, because why wouldn't they? Like, even if you butcher it, hey, you might make a few bucks in in license and royalties. But yeah, there's some people that really particularly say no one may ever cover this. Then I guess that the Harry Fox Agency would go, they would find that it doesn't, it would come back through DistroKid, and they'd say, sorry, a cover license could not be acquired for this song. And then I'm assuming, hasn't happened to me, but I'm assuming it would then not get put out and not charge you for it. So that's what I imagine. Is there anything in? I'm just going to go into the DistroKid FAQ here and see if I can find anything about that specifically. You know what? Sometimes it's easier to just Google DistroKid cover license. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Can I upload cover songs? Yeah, some examples of songs that may not be licensed. All right. So this might be a good article to check out, Al, which is... so, some that can be licensed. A song that was released at one point on iTunes and or Amazon MP3. A song that appeared on a limited pressing vinyl, which you can purchase at record stores in the US. A song that made available as promotional music download on an artist's website. So not... a song that was used in a film score, but itself was never released separately. So yeah, because film scores often have separate copyrights for songs that were used on the soundtrack. If it's just on a soundtrack, that artist doesn't actually often own the copyright to that song. So the artist can't approve a cover song if it's, say, that's a cover in itself, but what's an example? Let's just say that Celine Dion never released My Heart Will Go on her own album, but it was on the Titanic soundtrack. You can't cover it. But I'm pretty sure she released it or something. A song that was on a video game, because they have separate copyright. A song that was released as part of a compilation, but only in some country that was not the US, so it gets a bit tricky if it's like you're covering some German prog rock song that was on a CD compilation that was never sold in the US, because DistroKid are focused on the US. An old traditional song that's now public domain, and medleys, mashups, etc. To upload a cover, make sure to click another song. Another artist wrote it. Yeah. So you obtain it, a cover song. Does it say anything about if it doesn't cover? We're not lawyers, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All right. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. So I'm assuming though that if it's not successful, because it says securing cover license can take up to 14 days, releases will be submitted as soon as the license approved by the third party license. So I'm assuming as soon as it doesn't get approved by the third party, it doesn't release. Then you're okay. Yeah, that's the key thing. I'm an idiot, because when I do the happy hour, what am I drinking? Cold beer. Is that the worst possible thing you can drink as a singer? Pretty much, because it's cold and it's carbonated. The only worst thing would be dairy. Stay away from dairy too. So occasionally I drink iced coffee, and that's even worse, because dairy kind of clogs up your throat and is no good. So literally lukewarm room temperature water is kind of the best thing. Which is what I drink now. Just to confirm, I can release a remixed and mastered song to DistroKid as a single. Yes, you can. Do you want the tip on this? Because I just did this. If you want the tip before, and we'll talk about this. If you come to Patreon Live tomorrow, Joe, I'll talk about this in more detail. It's a bit of a later show tomorrow. But when you're releasing, here's a weird thing. If you come in here, upload music, I found this out doing this with Thomas because I was confused about was it previously released or not. It turns out this bit doesn't actually really matter. What matters more is when you come down here and you say, put the name of the song, which is down here. So what I did was put work in progress and then came down to here and said it is a yes featured artist or remixer, and I went remixer and I went Thomas Christ. What it does is it creates the title work in progress brackets Thomas Christ remix. It kept giving me the error saying this is already released. You already have a song called work in progress, regardless of whether I said it had been previously released or it hadn't, it still showed this. So what I actually then had to do is under the version, because if you say no, this is the normal version, it doesn't actually differentiate it. So you actually have to say that it's either a radio edit like that, so Thomas Christ remix radio edit, but that's only if it's like an edit that you've removed profanity. So I had to go other, and I think I called it the further progress version because that's what Thomas called it originally. So you basically have to have it as that work in progress Thomas Christ remix further progress version. So if you were getting a remix done, so say Jade remixed one of your songs, Joe, you would put it in there. It would be Murder is Great by Joe and Barry Glenn. And then the title you'd put here would be Murder is Great, but you couldn't just put remix to Jade Star. You'd then have to call it Jade's Death Mix. So it would be called, like you'd put remixer Jade Star, and then it would be name of song, Jade Star remix, Jade's Death Mix. So it makes it a little bit more complicated, but I guess it kind of makes sense because they just want differentiation. Otherwise, it just has remix by that person. But they've got to have, it's like when you get a CD and it's like hyped up house mix and like chilled out beat mix. So yeah, go with that. So yeah. Sorry, I always talk about death and murder with Joe and Barry Glenn. All right, the voices are running out. Yeah, cold beer is all I drink. I need a cold beer. It's the end of my week. It's my Friday night, people. Whoop, whoop. Sure, it's 10:20 a.m., but there's a couple of hours. I'll be legitimate to have a beer or two in a few hours' time. That is going to do it for this, except I wanted to have a quick rant here. I talked earlier about Patrick, and here he is. Here's the wonderful Patrick Baird from Logic Pro Guide. So Patrick released this video, and I like to dive into the comment section and say good job Patrick when he does something good. Yeah, good boy, well done. And also on Facebook, like when he shares videos, again I give him encouragement and support. That's what we do in this community. We encourage and support each other. Boy oh boy, whenever you, and I know this from my experience, but whenever you mention the word mastering, boy does it bring people out of the weeds. So whenever you say mastering, especially when you have the audacity to say mastering on an iPad or mastering using a website or mastering using anything but a highly qualified mastering engineer, yeah, you're basically asking for trouble. And I just wanted to reiterate that you do you, boo. Like, just do what works for you. But here's the thing. I understand if you were trained, if you're and this is the thing, the people that make comments like this usually have to tell you how many years experience they've had. And I respect and I'm happy for people that have a lot of years experience at music recording and mixing and mastering. That's all cool. And if you cut your teeth on analog consoles and you were the mixer for insert name of 70s band that I've never heard of, fabulous. Good job, you. Things have changed. I don't know if you've noticed that, but we now produce music on this and this legitimately. And things are different. Like, we don't all have access to mastering engineers or analog studios or the cash to pay someone $1,000 to master our songs. So we need to use another option. And guess what? They do a pretty good job. Do they do as good a job as a full-time experienced mastering engineer? Probably not. Are they infinitely cheaper and easier for a home studio person? Absolutely. And do I play music every single week on Your Music Live that blows people away, that's fantastic, that people have stuck through Mixia or BandLab mastering or just chucked a limiter on their GarageBand or their Logic Pro Mix? Absolutely. So yeah, just just relax a bit. And I'll say the final thing I say, unfortunately, like I don't want to throw shade on people related to this stuff. If you're feeling, if these people are feeling a bit angst and a little bit threatened by the new technology and by people doing things in a different way, I get it. We've all been there. Change is hard. It's hard to deal with things that change. But have you ever gone and tried to follow the rabbit down the hole of the music of the people that are making the comments on the forums and in the comment sections and on the Facebook groups? Yeah, it either doesn't exist or is decidedly average in my experience. And I'll say this to Patrick. I was having a quick chat with him. I was saying, "Oh yeah, you got a little bit of heat in your comment section from that one." And he's like, "Oh yeah, don't get me started." And I said, "Well, I can, without even looking, I can tell you with close to 100% accuracy that the people that spend all their time in comment sections criticizing others are probably not creating amazing music. Because you know why? If they were creating amazing music, they A, wouldn't be threatened by others, and B, wouldn't have enough time to be hanging out telling people, well, sorry." And again, it's always funny. It always starts the same way. It's like, "Sorry, Patrick." It's like, patronize much? And people say the same to me. They're like, "Sorry, Pete, but what you said about mastering is just not true. You need to be able to be in a treated room, and you need to have your mix at -12, and you need to know everything there is to know about luffs and luffs and laughs." And I'm like, or you go, "Hey, I wrote this really cool song. It's not quite loud enough. Gonna chuck it in this free mastering app." And does part of me actually enjoy the fact that we do that? Yeah, a little bit. But again, create good songs. You do what makes you happy, all that stuff. Anyway, that is my rant. Yeah, someone was doing that. Exactly. Some of the best stuff. And again, I say it again and again, and I'll keep saying it. $1 million song on an iPad, still $1 million song. Crappy song in $1 million studio, still a crappy song. Just saying. All I know about mastering, I learned from Pete. Yeah. Expert with no exactly. It's like when someone says, "Oh man, I'm like armchair football or hockey or whatever they're watching," and they're like, "Oh, you should have done that." And it's like, yeah, what, from your decades of experience and number of championships? No, you don't know. Yeah, anyway, I don't know. I don't know how I use Logic mastering. Yeah. Exactly. I think sometimes things are better. Sometimes automated things are better than you, and sometimes not. You just have to try it. I know, the analog versus digital debate. People are either nostalgic for it if they worked on it, but man, does it take a long time to do anything analog. Where's my 4-track Tascam folks at? Porter Studio, represent. Yeah. Does anyone want to go back to that? No. For a little dose of nostalgia, maybe. Do I want to work on it 24/7? God, no. It takes so long. That is a good tip. Yeah. Take a break between the final mix and mastering. Give your ears a rest. Yeah, and use a reference track. I know. No one really mentions that very often, but it is a great thing to do. And also keep in mind that it's always going to sound a bit louder. It always sounds a bit better if you turn it up. To the point where I think I've mentioned this before, but Joe Gilder did a test, or it might have been Graham Cochran, one of those guys. They did a test. No, you know what it was? It was Ian Shepherd, and it was Joe Gilder that talked about it, because he said Ian Shepherd did this demonstration where he played a song and then he said, "Here's the mixed version and here's the mastered version." And all he did was turn the entire mix up 2 dB. And people were like, "Oh, yeah, I could really hear how it brings out the blah, 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 blah." Yeah, I don't really love those sort of examples, because it's like, "Ha, you were all idiots." But at the same time, yeah, it goes to show that sometimes louder sounds better. All right, the voice is definitely going. So we're going to call it there, and we're coming right up to the hour. Did you like... I'm not really using the AI music much, but I must admit I'm having a bit of fun just creating a new theme song for every show that I do. So this one, I said, a brassy, funky, scar-infused song about why it's important to use GarageBand to create, record, and release your best music, which I thought was a bit fitting. So let's download the little video version of this one and go out with a playback of this. There it is. It's downloaded there. Very low quality, but still, it's all good. So thank you all for being here. As we say at the end of each and every show around here, be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Keep creating. And I'll see you next time. We're right here on GarageBand Weekly. Bye for now, folks.
And my funky groove, I'm here to tell you about a sound that'll make you move. If you want to create and release, let me introduce you to the GarageBand Beast with its
GarageBand Beast, that's me.
GarageBand
Bye,
gonna take you to new heights. Whether you're a novice or a seasoned pro, this sound's got everything you need to let your talent flow. Machine, GarageBand Supreme, unleash your creativity, feel your dream. A brass and funky star infusion, let your music be the ultimate contribution.